I'm the Who Guy, and welcome back to a very special video where today we're looking at the brand new B&M sets that were released end of 2024, start of 2025. These cost £21.99 in B&M, and unfortunately they are very hard to find. It's taken me all this time to find both variants. Yes, this set has two variants. This is the Friend and Foe set of the Doctor. It's a very strange set. We get two different variants of Cyberman, and then we get a very strange looking River Song and Clockwork Droid. So today we're going to check out all the figures and I'll give you my overall opinion. I did get one of these sets online from Shop for Who, so description down below for him. A fantastic Doctor Who seller. Luckily got that from him. Luckily I got the other one from B&M a couple of days ago. And if you love Doctor Who stuff, make sure to subscribe down below and click this like button if you've enjoyed the video. Let's get straight into the review. So here is the set in its lovely packaging, and I've got to say once again, absolutely love this brand new style of packaging. 15th Doctor logo at the top. The blue vortex and the white is just so clean. Weird part, this is apparently a 10th Doctor collector set, which, yeah, I wouldn't say so if I was them. Liar! This is kind of a mix between 11th and 10th Doctor set. Branding it as a 10th Doctor set, well yeah, that's pretty wrong. You can't even make the argument of this is where we first saw them, because Cyberman Classic Series, River Song, yeah, you could say 10th Doctor, we were introduced to her, and the Clockwork Droids. But yeah, I don't really understand why that says 10th Doctor. Inbox collectors, I can assume, will be very, very disappointed that that's on the box, considering it doesn't really correlate to what's inside. And on the side here, we got some diamonds saying that it features River Song, a Cyberman, and Clockwork Man. It's from the 5.5-inch series range. Get the limited edition sticker there and the set name, Friend and Foes of the Doctor. So on the side you got some more diamonds just featuring what's inside, and on the other side you got the TARDIS and the colour of the set. On the top you got the Character Online website as well as the Doctor Who logo. On the bottom you got loads of legal stuff and the contents inside. On the back of the box you get this big bio all about the figures in the set. So of course the Pandorica opens River Song, a Good Man Goes to War Cyberman, as well as the gold Clockwork Droid from the Girl in the Fireplace, and just a little write-up on all of the characters. Again, do those figures actually come from those stories? Well, I'm not sure. The Girl in the Fireplace for the Clockwork Droid is, yes, that's true. However, the Good Man Goes to War Cyberman, well, yes, maybe this Cyberman is the standard version, because of course there are two versions. We will get closer into that, but this one is definitely not from A Good Man Goes to War. River Song looks more like the Eternity Clock version from the Doctor Who game, so very, very interesting. Inaccurate packaging really this time. I do love the design of the packaging, but I've got to say a 10th era Doctor box, I'm not too sure about that. And of course, like I said, there are two editions. The packaging is exactly the same, just that Cyber Leader or Cyberman variation. So here are all the figures and accessories out of the packet. Let's go through them one by one and then compare them to their older releases. And firstly, we're going to have a look at the Clockwork Robot, and you've got to say it does look really, really nice. This gold design isn't seen too much in the actual episode. However, it does complete now, I do believe, the male variants shown in the show. Of course, we've never got that sculpt for the female ones. I don't think we ever will, but it would be pretty cool if they were to revisit that. And this figure has been painted wonderfully, especially for a B&M set where they do have quite a tight budget. This figure definitely looks like it was ripped straight from that original release wave. Just the paint apps given are absolutely wonderful, especially the hair there with the different strands being painted lovely, and that lovely golden painted mask. Maybe we've got a crackle effect, but I know that is asking for a little bit much. And just throughout this figure, as you can see, coming down to the torso, his jacket really, really well painted, definitely with those gold highlights and the little buttons down the middle. And this dark wash over his waistcoat. Down to the trousers, this cream design looking really nice, and then you get the socks and the shoes, which have been painted at the buckle. And the hands have all been painted really, really nicely, and just overall the paint on this figure is wonderful. Of course, this does have a special feature, this figure. You can take off the mask head, and inside you get that Clockwork Robot droid inside, and I've got to say, this is one of my favourite character options figures to date because it's such a unique figure with that inside of the Clockwork Droid. Of course, back then they did this as well, and I've got to say, it looks just as good in 2025. And that easily just slots back on the head there. So if you are going to buy 2 packs of these, you can definitely display one without the mask, and that is a pretty cool variant. This figure does come with an accessory, and it's this little saw here, and I've got to say, it's accessories included in these B&M sets. It's really nice to finally get some because we haven't had them in a while, and as you can see, painted really nicely with the gold and silver detailing, and just adds this other dimension to this standard figure. For articulation, well, the head does wiggle side to side, however, with this mask it is hindered. If you were to remove the mask though, the Clockwork Robot Droid can do a bit more. And the arms do, of course, the standard 360 and a bend at the elbow. The wrists, they do turn, it's very stiff though. Bit of waist articulation, again hindered by the coat, and the legs do kick out and bend at the knee, but that is pretty much it. This is a very old sculpted figure, so articulation on this figure wasn't going to be great in the first place. But overall, very happy with this figure. Now let's check out that River Song.
This isn't the River Song we know yet.
And here's this River Song, and I've got to say, this is by far one of the weirdest Doctor Who figures that character have released to date. Apparently based off of her Pandorica Opens outfit. I'm not too sure about that. I think it looks a bit more like the Eternity Clock. Whether they were allowed to label that, I'm not too sure. I've got to say though, this brand new face sculpt is definitely the best we have ever seen for Alex Kingston. It definitely does resemble her, and using that flesh tone definitely does work here. But coming down to the neck, as you can see, that isn't a flesh tone sculpt. It is painted, so the front colour is a bit off-putting from the head to the neck. But our hair, again, given that gold ginger look here, looks really, really nice, and a really nice detail that they did make a brand new sculpt. Using that old River Song sculpt, unfortunately I don't have that figure to compare to. And you can kind of tell this waistband as well is very loose. I don't know if I've got it on wrong. It was on already, and it's just very loose. I don't know if that's just mine. Again, she could wear it a bit lower, and it does actually fit on a bit better. And it has been painted really nice with this glossy effect. A lot of inaccuracies with this costume. They've done the best they could. It would have been nice to get a brand new sculpt. However, really nice to just get another variant of River Song, because we haven't had too many. And you get the black glossy gloves there at the end. The trousers continue on this black leather and got all the creases and bumps and holster that you would like. Boots, they've been given the glossy finish as well. This brand new head, of course, does the full 360, so very happy with that. The arms do kick out as well as rotate at the shoulder and the ball joint. And you do get a bend at the elbow, and the wrists, of course, do the full 360. She does have waist articulation, which is really nice. And she can also kick forward as well as do the splits if you would like her to.
Maybe, yes.
She's also got a swivel at the top of the boot as well as a bend at the knee. Overall for articulation, not too bad, much better than that Clockwork Robot Droid. It also comes with her accessory gun, and that can be held in her hand, where it does go in really comfortably. Her hands are quite rubbery, so that's easy to get in. Also does have that holster, and again, that will just slot inside pretty simply like that. Look, a bit of a hodgepodge, and really, what is this figure? What is it from? Definitely not great. However, it's really nice to have that brand new head sculpt. So I'm a bit undecided with this figure, but I think I like it, and it's a cool variant.
Cybermen just boarded.
So here are the 2 different Cybermens you can get in this set. This is by far my favourite figure in the set, and I've wanted this figure for ages. It, of course, is just the normal Cyberman without the Cybus logo. So firstly, we're going to go through the basic one and then tell you the difference on the Cyber Leader. And trust me, it's not much. Here's that standard Cyberman figure from Good Man Goes to War. It does have a brand new sculpt. We will be comparing that to the other figure. This does feel like exactly the same sculpt as those previous one, bar the chest plate there. And the head looks really nice with the blacked out eyes, and you get that really cool detailing of a Cyberman. Of course, throughout this Cyberman, it's been painted wonderfully, chromy, shiny silver paint, which definitely does reflect much better than previous Cybermen. And of course, the kind of tubing wires, which are in between the metal paneling, are much better on this figure than previous Cyberman releases. Been given this silver grey wash, which looks really cool and makes it all stand out very nicely. You know these figures by now. They're pretty much exactly the same as those older releases, with all the silver paneling and all the detailing you would love on this Cyberman. And it's just really nice to see this Cyberman looking much better in 2025 with all these paint apps, as well as you even get the detailing on the bottom of the boots there. That's pretty neat. Like I said, there are 2 variations to this set, and it is literally the black handles. Everything is the same on these two figures apart from the black handles on this Cyber Leader figure. I really do like when they do Cyber Leader or Cyber King versions or Cyber Controller ones. It would have been nice to get the actual Good Man Goes to War Cyber Leader with the brain. This one is weirdly from a Monopoly set. Yes, as you can see there. So very, very strange that this has been included. I guess they just wanted to give us a different variant and it was a very, very cheap way, but I'm very happy to have it, and it is quite a niche character to have in the collection. Of course, each Cyberman comes with the blaster, and that looks really, really cool. Well detailed and well painted, really, really nice, and they just sit in the Cyberman's hand. Not too well, however, it does fit in there. Articulation on these Cyberman figures, of course, you got the full 360 on the head, and it does actually have a kind of ball joint where you can pivot it up and down. We also do get a small kick out at the arm, and that can do the full 360. You get the bend at the elbow, which is always nice. Rotating wrists. An ab crunch on these Cyberman, which is really strange to see. The legs are really weird. They kind of want to kick out. They kind of don't. I don't want to break it. So it is quite tough, so be very careful with that. And the knee does bend. And of course you get a bit of movement at the boot, but all of the armor plating does hinder the articulation on this figure. But I still think old sculpted figure, the articulation is pretty neat. Overall, both Cybermen's, very happy, and definitely my favourite figure of the set. Now, let's compare these figures to their older counterparts. Starting off with the Clockwork Robot Droid, you can see this one definitely will pop on your shelf. I still think my favourite is this blue design. I just think overall this blue does really pop and looks really cool. However, this gold design does look pretty neat. I think the black is definitely the different one out of the two, and definitely has a lot more detail than the other two. Of course, they all use that same articulation. They all have the inner workings. Of course, there are other Clockwork Robot Droid figures as well. So I wouldn't say this figure is better than any of the rest. I think what it does do well is definitely the hair. However, I think all three of these figures look really nice. I wouldn't say the older ones look dated compared to this new release. Now, coming to the River Song, well, I don't actually have one that is out of box in her normal Series 5 outfit. However, you can compare the face here, and as you can see, I would say this brand new face sculpt is much, much better. Just comparing pictures to this Pandorica Opens River Song, say that original release I do prefer. However, I wish they do use this face sculpt for a re-release of that older version. And when comparing these figures to some older Cyberman figures, of course that very elusive figure, which is the standard one without the Cybus logo, is quite a rare figure. However, I do have one of the kind of damaged figures, and as you can see, it's definitely using a newer sculpt on this new one where the actual inner lines are printed when this one was sculpted. And to be honest, I think I prefer the actual printed ones. I think it's just much clearer to see. This older version does look pretty neat. It's the one that's battered and been put together. I only get a standard one in my collection. And comparing it to a Cyberman figure, of course, the only difference here really is that Cybus logo. This one has worn down, so you might be able to see the paint app's different. However, definitely the base layer of silver is much, much better on this brand new release. It does give that shine that the Cybermans do have in the show. I definitely need to get around to sorting out my older Doctor Who figures. As you can see, a lot of them have fallen down and definitely need a rework. But smash that like button if you want me to show off my complete collection of Doctor Who figures.
Oh yes, please.
So thank you so much for watching. Overall, I've got to say I absolutely love this set. It is a strange one, I must admit, especially with the box saying it's a 10th Doctor set. Maybe the River Song is the disappointment in this set. The head sculpt's really good. I think everything else is pretty meh. Getting a standard Cyberman without the Cybus logo is really good for me and my collection. So overall, I think my favourite has to just be that standard Cyberman figure. Getting that weird Monopoly leader one was pretty cool as well. And getting a brand new colour Clockwork Robot Droid. If you've enjoyed the video, again, make sure to smash that like button. And remember, I have loads of Doctor Who figure reviews on the channel, so make sure to watch them. And subscribe if you're new to the channel. I've been the Who Guy, and I'll see you in the next Doctor Who video. Bye!
He doesn't like endings.